Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome on in. Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Magic Bun, and I am here today to give you a reading for this full moon in Leo. If you didn't know by now from the title of this video. I just feel like I say that so much. But yes, per the title of this video, this is a pick a card style reading. It is different than my last video that went live for what Aquarius season is going to bring you. So if you haven't seen that video yet, that is a collective reading with a few pick a card options at the end of it. This one is going to have 3 different options. We're going to use emojis for this one this time. I use different things every time. This time we're going to try, I think we're going to stick with emojis. I think that'd be like the fun thing to do to help you pick your pile if you don't want to just go by 1, 2, or 3. So I'll get to that in just a moment, but I do want to bring up that this full moon is happening January 25th. I'm like pretty positive that is a Thursday, and along with every time I do a full or a new moon ritual, I always host a group ritual, which is called the Magic Circle. So this Magic Circle, we are focusing in on that strength card, which is associated with Leo energy for this full moon in Leo, and we really want to release a lot of things like ego and pride, low self-esteem, just that idle, stagnant energy. We're really going to use the full moon to like banish and release, and just because we want that energy to come back flowing. So we need to cultivate energy to replace that. Now this could be something related to your specific petition that you're able to do, whether you sign up for my Magic Circle or not. We do that in the Discord and whatnot, but you can also put what you would like to cultivate, things you would like to replace and want to grow when you release from this full moon. Now what I will be putting down here for cultivation for this full moon in Leo is gratitude, it is love, it is perseverance, it is confidence, and just overall fortitude, okay? It is bravery, it's being bold, it's being, having endurance. When we think of that strength card, it's having patience and enduring change, because we're dealing with Leo. It's a fixed sign. They're very steady and consistent, high maintenance, but it's worth the warmth that you get from that sign of Leo, okay? And maybe I'm a little bit biased considering I am a Leo sun, so just putting that out there, but that's why I really do love working. I love working with every full and new moon, but it's really nice when it's like in one of your big 3s, your moon sign, your rising sign, or your sun sign, okay? So yes, if you're interested in more about that, more details will be in the description box below. You can always join in right here through my Ko-fi, just Ko-fi .com/magicbunbun. All that information is down there. That's also where you can book personal readings with me, is through my Ko-fi, okay? But by the time this video is up, they're open again. I had to close them because I had a lot of things happening in the beginning of the month. Hopefully now we have more consistency. You'll be seeing a lot more of me now from here to Twitch. Make sure you check out my TikTok for more daily card pulls and whatnot. Sometimes they might end up here on YouTube and like a YouTube short, but most of the time you're gonna just find them on TikTok, okay? Other than that, let's get to the emojis. I know that's what you're all waiting for, but I wanted to put that out there for anyone who's interested for the full moon ritual. But we're going to do it this way. We're going to have it where for pile number 1, if you are vibing with the numbers, you know what to do. You go down below and you can just fast forward to your reading. There'll be numbers in blue. Click on that and it'll fast forward to your reading. But if you would like to go by emojis, for pile number 1, we have a flame, which hopefully should be pictured around here somewhere. It should be just the emoji of the little flame. And then for number 2, I'm going to do the flaming heart emoji. So for pile number 2, the flaming heart emoji. And then for pile number 3, we're going to do a lion because it's a full moon in Leo. So you're going to see the lion pop up right here. So remember, these are your options. If I go this way, that makes more sense when you see it on screen. I don't know, everything's flipped. So but yes, pile number 1 is fire, pile number 2 is the fiery heart, pile number 3 is the lion, okay? So hopefully, I've done it before, it should be easy peasy. You should be able to see it here. Just go down below, you'll see the same emojis, and it'll say pile 1, 2, or 3, and click on that to fast forward to your reading. I'll just see you in a moment. Okay. Hello, pile number 1, or for those of you who picked the fire emoji, which I'm hopefully pointing at. I've done it once before. I should be able to do it again. Okay, so I'm going to start shuffling so we can find out what it is you need to know for this full moon in Leo. Put my mouse over there. Just realized it was going to be in the way. Let's ask your divine spiritual team. Let's ask the universe. Let's find out what it is that you need to know. What shall be illuminated to you underneath this full moon? What you need to take a deeper dive into. You know, what's going to be shown to you? What is a primary focus? And what might get in the way? Alright, let's see what wants to flip out of here. Okay, we have a few cards popping in right here. The first one is the Queen of Pentacles, some Capricorn energy, which as I'm recording this, we're still in Capricorn season. So some Capricorn energy, a little bit in reverse though, could be more implying like issues with self-care, taking care, like just generally nourishing yourself, nourishing your body, nourishing your home, work and life out of balance, that sort of stuff. And then we have the Six of Pentacles as a challenge. This definitely because when I say this is out of balance, we have scales right there, which is supposed to initiate balance. It's supposed to be as much as you're giving, that you're being given to, that you're taking, that you're cultivating, you're putting your energy out, and it should be coming back in as well. This is so you don't basically burn yourself out. Especially because we have the Queen of Pentacles. A lot of you might be very tired, exhausted. Life is just, which I mean, kind of like who isn't having a tough time in a way, but in this way, it's more of like taking care of yourself, your body, and like your work habits. Something to be very out of balance here. Well, we're going to figure out more precisely what that is as we continue on with the reading. Like I said, I always start with the tarot first, and then I follow that up with some oracle cards. But then we have, this is Smokey. This is Smokey the Bear, but no, this is Smokey. This is also the Emperor. So say the Empire, but the Emperor. Is actually, this is the only card that there's two in this deck, because I like to add extra cards in my tarot decks. If any of you remember Big Daddy is still around. He's just chilling right there in that bag. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, you can check out previous videos where I use Big Daddy. That has a lot of duplicates. It's one of my decks that has like 3 stars cards and 3 tower cards. It's pretty fun but intense. But anyways, but we have the I was about to say Empire again, the Emperor card popping up here in reverse. So this is definitely like structure. This is problem with authorities. This could be like work is really draining you. Work is very much like falling out of balance. It's like reworking it all the time. You keep going back to the planning stage of things. You're like, I'm going to get a planner. I'm going to do structure. I'm going to, you know, make sure also to put in your self-care hours, and then you never follow through. And maybe this could also be feeling like defeat in just like the beginning of the year, which doesn't make any sense. Like, you're allowed to make mistakes, you know. Just because the new year started doesn't mean like you were going to like be like a full new person right away. This is about a year of journey. This is a journey, okay? This is, things are going to fluctuate, things are going to change, because this also brings us with the Queen of Pentacles bringing us Capricorn energy. This brings us Aries energy, 2 of them being cardinal signs. Cardinal signs are initiators. They start things up. You might be feeling very delayed in that startup, feeling like you just haven't gotten like the planning down right, the pattern just right, like you're not sure what you should be cutting out, you're not sure where you're giving your time to, if you're giving it in the right places, if you're investing in the right things, investing in the right people, if you've been like, you know, misled. Like, there's just a lot of questions out there, which is okay, you know, like it's okay to have these questions. It's okay that you don't know everything. You're not supposed to know everything. Life is supposed to be mysterious, okay? And then we have the Death card bringing in some Scorpio energy, some fixed sign. We want to see some fixed signs because it's a full moon in Leo. Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and Leo, you know, coming up, are all the fixed signs here. So we have Death card coming into here, and like something's gonna end. Something's going to end for you, and it is in your benefit. And this is not to be negative. This is not to be seen even as positive. It's just an ending. Everything must come to an end, even with this, which in this way though, I will say I feel like so far it leads a little bit more on the positive side, but as long as you let it go, as long as you don't fight it, you don't resist it. I think a lot of times when it comes to change, people tend to resist it because we're wired for comfort. We're wired to try to stay in our comfort zone. Even if something is meant for you that is better, if it's different, it might be very hard to like accept it. It might be very hard to allow it to happen and to do it and to be like, all right, I can do this. You know, there's a lot of lack of confidence when it comes into that. We have another queen popping up in here. We got the Queen of Swords coming in here. This is Libra energy, and this is what I was just talking about with the scales right there. The scales are the sign of Libra. So definitely trying to find balance within this full moon, which is still going to be like from the full moon to the next new moon. It's a cycle. It's not something, I feel like there's a lot of pressure here to wanting to be like an overnight change, but there's going to be some time into this. And that might be like why it feels like you're like, I want this to happen overnight, and it doesn't happen, and it's like you're going to need some patience. And that's what this full moon can bring you, is some patience to endure it, because we also have the sun popping in here, and the sun is with Leo energy, rules over Leo. So we kind of see that wrapping around, which is really nice to see those signs coming into here. And this is illumination. This is like trying to find warmth. Another thing with that Queen of Swords energy, now specifically with the Queen of Swords, it is known as the Ice Queen. Understanding like where emotions can come into play, but cuts emotions out. Feeling like you need to make a decision, you need to voice things, and taking your emotions out of it. Okay? But that might not be in your best interest. You still may need to listen to your heart and what brings you joy, what brings you happiness. Not to forgive that, or to forget that. Sure, you can understand me. To forget what brings you happiness. This definitely feels like you've been working and you forgot how to have a good time initially. And then we have the King of Wands, which is Leo energy, which is not too surprising to see a lot of Leo energy for a full moon in Leo reading, right? Okay. I have to see who's down here. Okay, we got that one. We have the Queen of Cups as a challenge. We've got a lot of queens. We've got 3 queens. Who am I missing? Oh, the Queen of Wands, which is Aries energy, which is always, you know, like with Smokey, with the Emperor card right there, brings that Aries energy out anyways. And then we have the Page of Cups, which is the keeper of all the water element, the water signs, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio energy. It's like not sure what path it wants to take, so it's just like starting to learn what paths are and like what you can do there. And then our crowning card, let me grab the whole deck instead, which is our card at the bottom of the deck, is Temperance. Brings us Sagittarius energy. So we have indications of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. All the fire signs are in this reading, which emoji being the fire seems to fit perfectly with this. Okay, so as we get more details with that, I'm just trying to like see what is there but not in front of me. Like when you start picking up these signs in the zodiac, you're like, okay, Sagittarius and Aries, what does this mean? Why do we have this? And it's like, it's a pattern. It's trying to say fire and confidence. What do all these signs have in common, being fire elements? You know, what does that bring to you? Have you been feeling very cold and you need to find warmth? Like you've been working and it's like, you know, like yes, for here in the northern hemisphere, like it is very cold today. I have like a heater and everything on here. We've got a blanket actually on my lap right now. Does it mean physical, like you need to be physically warm, taking care of yourself, having a cozy time? This gives me more of like acting like a child again, like acting like a child and wanting to do things that are creative, wanting to see and practice magic, you know, wanting to learn or read something about an adventure. This is psychic intuition. This is trusting that inner voice that, you know, you may need more practice in listening to your inner voice, you know, and it's okay. Not everything can be made off of just logic alone. Like if you know logically, if you work harder, you'll make more money, but what are you giving up in that time? You know, like what joys are you escaping? Why are you saving that for the future self of you versus you that deserves it now? The King of Wands is like seeing a new future. They're seeing like they look at their empire, they look at their communities, and this is kind of like an influence. It kind of feels like we're ending one job or like one type, especially if you are into social media or any sort of like online influencer at all, or just like you work like as a streamer or such, or maybe you're a YouTuber, stuff like that. It's like the death of how you used to view something, like with that Queen of Pentacles, like how you used to view the work, to be like, I'd rather inspire people in this way. Like, I'm ready to inspire people. I'm ready to lead people. Having this light, you're also ready to start taking those actions. Even if you're not sure, it's like, it's okay to, with this Page of Cups, it's okay, like, not to know everything. It's okay just to be a student and to learn and to find a mentor. The Queen of Cups is another challenge right here, and she sits right underneath the Queen of Swords, which is the mind. And as you can see, they're not pointing in the same direction. So the challenge is getting both of those aspects of you on the right path and being aligned with each other. This is where we're seeing a lot of the imbalances, that your mind and your heart are not a team player right now. They both want different things. And it's tearing you to be like, you know, you should be doing this, and logic and says you to do that, and you might be leaning more towards that. But then you have to pull that back when you start listening to your voice and being like, it's okay for you to take a day off. It's okay for you, to, not always be working and grinding. And, you need that rest and relaxation. You need to invigorate your mind, because you never know what can inspire you. By just having moments of play, to have moments of joy, just playing a game for fun, just for hanging out with friends for fun, not for views, not for account, not for subscribers or followers, or for ad revenue and stuff like that, but like having that moment for just yourself and for your friends, or for you to have that moment with yourself, talking to yourself, talking to spirit, if you feel more comfortable, talking to spirit. Or like, how some people play games. You're playing a game, you're talking to the character in the game, like, come on, we can do this, we can do that, good job, or we can do this better, we'll do it again, it's fine, and it's like, that's your moment. Like, that's just like a moment that you need to believe that you deserve it now too. Not always to be like, I work hard now so that later on, years later, I feel like I deserve this and I deserve to play. You're going to be looking back and be like, I wish I just had fun when I could, when I found that time. Okay. We're going to bring out some oracle cards. Hold on, that's not all of them. There we go. Crowd favorite, we have surrender cards. Good things to surrender for this full moon, because it's really great to surrender things for for full moons in general, because we're seeing how things can be released. So it's kind of with this reading right here, it's like just my mind went to death with some plans, like perfectly laid plans. Doesn't matter how perfect they are, you need to be adaptable, you need to be able to change, you need to also think of consistency. You're trying to do it all. You're trying to be like, you know what, when I do this job, when I work on myself, I am all about that life of balance and what you think balance is. And it's like, sometimes it's gonna be messed up. Sometimes it's devoting time to something that in the end, like after weeks and weeks of doing it, you're like, yeah, wasn't really worth it. But did you go back and find out what you learned from it, and like, why wasn't it worth it? And it's like learning to let those aspects go so you can focus on something that's better for you. Something that is more easy to incorporate in your daily life. Okay. What do you need to surrender? First one right there, second one, and our third. Any more? And we have one more. Okay, I'm just gonna actually put you there. Okay, so the first one we have here is surrender to what is. And it says, flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it is exactly as it is will bring you peace. This is, like I told you about, that death card. Like, you're trying so hard to see every aspect of something to fix it because you want this foundation to be strong, where the Emperor is like, the best thing to do is just to let that part crumble, let it fall down. And it is what it is. It is what it is. There's not much you can do about it. If you need to take a break, you need to go and just, like, have a day to grieve, potentially, like, how it is. It crumbled and it falled. It fell, I should say. Take the time. Take that time. We have also this, surrender your fear of intimacy. It says you are ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. Now, yes, of course, with this card, it could be same with other people. Maybe you've been keeping this blocked. This is why the queens are there and they're facing different directions. And it's like you're going to put a fear. Excuse me. I was reading, I just saw the word fear on the card right there. But put a stop to, like, those feelings or resistance or whatnot. But I also get this because we were talking about self-care earlier. This is intimacy for yourself, loving yourself, telling yourself that you love yourself, like legitimately waking up and being like, I love myself. I am grateful for everything that I've done, everything that I have learned that has gotten me this far. It has been a journey and I cannot wait to continue on, just intimacy with yourself, and also because this is like, making sure that you give yourself the nourishment and the joy and the happiness. So on this full moon, overall, if you don't go any further in this part of your reading for you, pile number one, take it to maybe plan on that night, a night to yourself or a night out with friends for the weekend. Even if it's just staying at home and just wanting to game or, have people over, play card games, or like I said, just you gaming, doing solo games, no multiplayer games, like just like, so you're in control of the situation. You still feel that control, but it's you having fun. It's you doing it, okay? And then we have surrender overthinking. If you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help bring you clarity or even solve the problem. That kind of pairs very well with surrender to what is, and that's definitely along the lines of like, you know what, sometimes you just can't figure this thing out right now, and you just need to go and like have some fun, give it to spirit. And that's where I'm kind of get the feeling from you. You may be feeling very inspired creatively when it comes to that night with both of the Queen of Cups, which also brings us, I forgot to say that earlier, brings us Cancer energy, the sign of Cancer. So we've got Page of Cups. We don't have a Pisces card. We have another, we've got the Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer. There's a lot of cardinal signs in here, so you may have a lot of cardinal placements in your chart. Look to your rising sun and moon signs particularly, but this is wanting to initiate things, wanting to do it urgently, but it's going to be delayed. It's not going to be very easy unless you learn to let certain things go and learn to take care of yourself as well. And then we have surrender to the magic of who you are. We all have magic in us. Even in the mundane aspects of life, remember that you are a magical being with the uniqueness and worth that come from just being you. This pairs very well with surrender your fear of intimacy. This is fear of loving yourself. And I know this seems really, really weird. You're like, you feed yourself. But it's like, have you seen how you eat and what you eat? Like, I'll let you discuss with yourself and with your doctor, like, what you're eating and whatnot. But how you eat is more of like, do you take your time to enjoy your food? it might not be for every meal. You might not be able to have the time. I get it. Like you're on my lunch break. You just want to shovel that food down and then get back and do whatever. But when you have the time, like you have the time just to enjoy your food, maybe watch a movie, watch a TV show while you're eating, listen to an audio book while you're eating. Like, do you enjoy that time? Do you have a meal with yourself, or just chit-chatting with a friend when you're just trying to enjoy a meal and whatnot, and like really being that present in that moment? Like, do you honestly do that, versus every single time you're just like, I'm gonna shovel my food because whatever, you're busy. Like, I get it, people have been busy, but it's like you're always constantly busy. Find some me time. This is what the cards are saying, is find some me time, and which is pairs very well with the full moon in Leo. We're gonna bring out more oracle. Just need a sippy of water. Okay. Alright, this is still a pretty new deck to me. This is the Witching Hour Oracle. I feel like people are going to get sick of me using this one soon because I use it so much, but I think it goes really well. Okay. Beautiful. So at least 2, I think? Okay, we got 2. I need 1 more. And I think these cards are very straightforward to what we're talking about. Alright, just need 1 more card. Or 2? 2? 1? No? None? Okay. Oh, here we go. Ooh, I might need the guidebook for that one. That one I'm not sure about. These 2 are pretty self-explanatory though. So we have this card, Coven, which is soul family. Just talking about it, like, if you need more of a sign that you need to hang out with other people, make time for friends, make time to hang out with like-minded individuals. I mean, it could be family, or it could just be like, your chosen family, your coven. Who would you have close? It doesn't have to be a huge party. You don't have to go to a bar. You don't have to do anything like that. But you can hang out with others, even if it's just like we're all gonna chill like in a Discord call, and just chit-chat there while someone plays a game or something like that. It doesn't have to be, on someone's stream or something public. It could be a very private affair too. And then we have, flying ointment, I think it's what it says. It says letting loose. This is letting loose and having fun. Having fun, like I said, those are pretty there. Just going and having some fun. And then, which also is very interesting because this is a full moon. So it is a Thursday night, so I mean, I don't know how much you can let loose and have fun on a Thursday night. I think some of us really are good at that, but if you have work the next morning, you can always plan it for a Friday night to a Saturday night, type of thing. And then we have this one, which is Secret Trail Ascension. So, and there's like another moon. Wait, is that? Yes, it's like a glowing orb moon in the background. I am going to look up for this one only because I have an idea of what it means, but I'm not 100% certain, which is funny that the book opened right to it. Ascension, enlightenment, preparation for greatness. Not everyone can go. Preparation for greatness is at the heart of this card. Those who receive it are ready to level up and experience an even greater life. However, as much as we'd like it, not everyone is going to continue the journey with us as we grow. When you shift and transform, you are also silently challenging others to shift and transform with you. Finding your greatness will prompt your immediate community to examine their own greatness. Some will be inspired by you and rise right along with you, and the secret trail will also be revealed to them. But many, if not most, will give into fear, doubt, or jealousy, causing them to stand still or even to shift in a different direction from your path, which I think made this completely clear with Death and the King of Wands, like leaving friends behind, which is probably why we see like a group of here, someone's ascending, someone is growing taller. That is you. You're ready for this growth, And also, I get this feeling of someone putting themselves first, and people around them are like, "Excuse me, like you're not taking care of me. You don't want to do things with me." You're like, "That's not what I mean. I mean, I want to take care of myself first." Like I said, even if it's just going out or having like a self-care day, spa, hair salon, you're like, "I am prioritizing my needs." Which brings us, I forgot to talk about temperance, because we see cups in here, cups of Magick, that Sagittarius energy. Ooh, excuse me. Which kind of brings us back to Coven, because it's your soul family. You think about this like the fire elements, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius are in this reading. It could just be 3. It doesn't have to be how there's like 4 people in here. It could be just 3 people. 3 of you have different elements but are very similar in that way, like the fire right there, but have different aspects of how, you know, some of you are more consistent, some of you might be more spontaneous, some of you thirst for knowledge and truth, you know, that sort of stuff. Okay. I'm just making sure. Establish stronger boundaries. It says, if you are inquiring about your career or a business, you may be considering leaving your current position in order to start something completely new. In general, receiving this card means opportunities are available to you that few others will ever enjoy. Don't be afraid to take this journey on your own. As I say, I love this deck. It fit in perfectly to what we were saying earlier. And we were talking about like opening paths. It was really great. Okay. We're going to do self-care. I haven't done that. I have not done self-care cards in a hot minute. So we're going to do self-care cards because we're kind of talking about that. I think it fits this reading perfectly too. Some self-care options. You don't have to do all these options. These can actually just inspire you to do whatever it is that you need to do. And remember, self-care, this is more about self-love, but some self-care options. Self-care is more described as like needing to get your bills in order, needing to cut out people, set up boundaries, speak your truth, that sort of stuff. You know, like it's like if you did a big task, you're like, this was really stressful and I'm so happy I'm done and over with, whether it's like an appointment, like I said, dealing with some bills, dealing with debt, seeing how you can better manage your money and whatnot, then you can like give yourself a little treat. This will be more of like the little treat side. Be still. Maybe some meditation that night. Okay. We have watch a movie. I know I said that earlier. We have watch a movie. This person's just cozying up with their animal in a nice, I'm assuming warm drink like a coffee or something, or a cocoa, and is watching a movie. So be still, watch a movie. Deep breathing. Remember, you don't have to do all of these, but these could just be something that you want to maybe try, or just do 1 or 2 of them, spread them out throughout the week, you know, that sort of stuff. We got deep breathing. And then we have soak in a bath. And when we're talking about spa day, this makes me think of like getting a pedicure, you know? So like maybe you want to schedule getting a pedicure or whatnot for the weekend. But we have soak in a bath. This could also be tied in with a moon bath, a ritual bath. If you keep or make any moon water, make sure you add it to this bath, you know? But you might be more inclined to want to make moon water that night as well. So you can use it for baths in between. All right, we're going to end this reading with a therapet message for this full moon in Leo for you. More shuffle. What is the message you need to hear right now for this full moon in Leo, pile number 1? You have this card, no beating yourself up anymore. It doesn't help and you don't deserve it. It's more on the lavender side, so it's hard for my camera to pick that up. But there you go. That's so cute. Be kind to yourself. Allow yourself joy. Don't be like so rigid with the way that you're thinking and obsessively trying to like just figure things out and be like, I'm not gonna have fun until I figure this out. Sometimes when you're having fun, it can be very inspiring for you. It can be very enlightening to you, because that's another thing too with this temperance card. It's healing, it is transformation, and it is trying to bring things back into balance between how you view work, how you do your work, and then your personal life, your home life, you know, making sure you're taking care of your body, or because it's just as important, if not more important, than your job and your work and stuff. That, you know, some of you are doing jobs that are just doing jobs so you can pay your bills, so it's not always going to be glamorous. Even if it's a job that you're passionate about, it's not always going to be glamorous. There's going to be hiccups here or there, you know, and it's just a part of life. We can't be worrying about things we cannot control. We just have to focus on how we can react to situations, even if that means putting boundaries up. As you grow and you get better and you're like, okay, I'm ready to move on to the next step. I'm ready. I fixed my plans. I've done my plans. I've seen them in action. I've had to go back and revise them, like that back and forth. That's absolutely okay. That's what part of life is. But that some people may not like what happens to you and how you change as a person. And that might be more on them. Only you will know that. You'll know your personal relationship, personal relationships with some of these people, and you got to ask yourself, are they worth keeping close to you anymore, or are they always constantly trying to drag you down, drag you back, instead of progressing forward, where you know you're going to be uncomfortable for a bit, but it's going to lead to more happiness, more prosperity, more abundance. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Again, if you are interested in joining the Magic Circle, please go to my Ko-fi right here, or you can book a personal reading with me here, okay, for a one-on-one experience. It is set up similar to this as a YouTube video. All right, so I will see you when I see you. Have a wonderful full moon experience if I don't see you until then. Bye. Hello there, pile number 2, or for those who picked the flaming heart. Okay, let me put my mouse over there, get it out of the way, get my cards, and start shuffling for you so you can find out what will be illuminated for you for this full moon in Leo. Take a moment, take a few deep breaths. Let's get this reading going. Let's call to your ancestors, call to spirit, to the divine, to the universe, to enlighten us what you should be focusing in on for this full moon in Leo. All right, let's see what flips out of the deck. Ooh, very powerful, very powerful. Okay, we start with, which I know isn't a pleasant card to see, but it's the 10 of Wands. Completion. A lot of tasks, a lot of things you've been doing, that you've been trying to do it all. However, a great challenge to you is the Page of Wands, the keeper of fire, of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius energy. It is trying to pick a primary focus off of one of these. You see how much easier it is for this page, who's just like, I'm going to take one stick and focus in on the power of this. You know what? And it has so much potential to go all these different ways, but if you have a focus on it, it won't become overwhelming. Now, another card that popped up in reverse is the Devil card. This is going to feel like liberation and freedom. This does bring us some Capricorn energy, which while I'm recording this video, I'm still in Capricorn season. But we have, like, you know, so this could be something you're figuring out. When this video goes live, it should also still be in Capricorn season, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so, you know, this might be something you're trying to figure out, what you want to liberate yourself of all of these responsibilities. This could also be like someone who has young energy, someone who's like, you're picking up a stick. It's like your action, your spirit, your soul, like something that sets your soul aflame, something that you're very enthusiastic about, that you want to first initiate, that start to trying to initiate, to learn more about it, try to be consistent with it, and then go into advancing your knowledge and skills about this, and like how you can advance the actions you want to take, you know, like how you progress from one level to the next. You want to level up, but this starts with liberating yourself. Also, we're going to get more into it when we get more cards and oracle cards, but definitely definitely seeing like maybe if it's liberation from like low self-esteem, considering we're dealing with the full moon in Leo, trying to like break those chains, trying to make sure it's not you or you're listening to like self-criticism or like the devil on your shoulder who's giving you all the reasons why you shouldn't do something, that it's just more fear holding you back. We've got justice, we've got divine timing, we got some Libra energy coming into here. This is trusting that things are working behind the scenes, but also I feel like there's been a lot of responsibilities that have been on you. Got another card coming out. That maybe haven't been feeling very fair lately. Things haven't been feeling very fair for you. You've been like, it's like also observing others. That devil card tells me a bit of jealousy. That devil card tells me there might have been a lot of jealousy. You're like, you've been working so hard and doing this. Like we have another 10 card. We've got a 10 of pentacles in here. And it's kind of like, I have been doing this for years energy. And it feels like someone else, maybe who's younger or who just started on a journey, just like, I'm going to do what you're doing. I'm just going to start it. And they do it and boom, overnight success. And like that, I can understand the whiplash on that. That could be feeling very much like, well, it's like I said, jealousy. That's what I'm talking about, that devil card being in there. But it's just like you're comparing your journey to theirs. And it's like, analyzing them, you're watching them, and it's like, ooh, we got to bring that focus back to you. Okay, I know that's not like a happy type of reading so far, but we're going to get more clues and more hints and more intuition and whatnot to find out what exactly we should be doing. And we have now a 3 of Wands. We're having a lot of fire coming into here, a lot of fire, some bit of earth energy coming into here. And when we see this, it's sitting underneath the devil card. If I hold it this way, you see how there's 3 figures into here, so there could be an under leaning type of energy, lingering energy of 3, seeing the number 3 in here, which is with the Empress card, which is an earth type of energy. She's Venus. She rules over both Libra and Taurus energy. Sorry, I think my hair was getting like attached to that. But this card invites you to look beyond, because you haven't been thinking big enough. You haven't been thinking great enough. You haven't been thinking like, wow, where can this really take you? You've been having a very small dreams, which is fine, but we have to set bigger goals. This is a new journey for you. You're not comparing it to anybody else. This is you, for your journey, your growth, your success. Okay, so we're seeing like this, like maybe this disconnection from ancestors, from like a community driven. Maybe you're having an issue building your community, or like it's just not fair, like you don't have enough time to dedicate to it, yada, like giving yourself excuses versus like working with what you have in front of you, the resources you have. That devil card's like, I'm so sorry, unless you have the best equipment, you have the most amount of money, you're never going to be successful if you don't have that stuff. Now that stuff can help you. That stuff can help you explode, and that's probably what you're not seeing on the other side, is what's being given to these other people that they just have the privilege of having. And it's like, it's very unfair, but hopefully there's things though that are working behind the scenes for you. Or it's more focused in on your own point of view, because this is the card that popped up underneath that Justice card, and that is the 8 of Wands. Excuse me one moment, just have an itch to my eye. Okay. I think I had a hair, like this hair is just being a menace. I put it down for this reading because I've had it pinned back, and now it's being a menace to society. But we have the 8 of Swords, 8 of Swords coming in here, which, as you can see, this person is tied up, they're blind, but the thing is, those bounds, like the ropes are very loose. They might have even done it to themselves, not knowing it, like got tied up in something, like oopsies, and it's like, you know what, I'm stuck here, there's nothing I can do, I just feel very like, you know, stagnant. And it's like, the power is within you though. The power is within you, and once you realize it, justice is like, because normally when we see justice, there is like it has the 2 pillars similar to the Hierophant and the High Priestess. But where the High Priestess has a veil, like it's completely there, it's thin, it's a thin veil, but it is completely hidden to the subconscious, like you can't see it very well. With the Justice, usually right about there, it's like the curtain's about to fall. which is why we align it with divine timing. Things will be presented to you in a timely fashion, but when it's meant to happen, not when you want it to happen, okay? And you have to have that faith. You have to believe in it. You have to know that the world is working for you and working behind the scenes for you. You have to be ready, though, to accept this change, okay? And with this, when you're in this type of mindset of like of a victim mentality, of always giving yourself it's part of self-sabotaging, but when you're giving yourself these excuses, why do you give yourself these excuses? Why don't you want success? What is so scary about it? And these could be honest questions. Now, for some of you, you'd be like, oh, I do want success. I do want this. But are you ready for what all comes with it, though? You know, when people start becoming successful, that jealousy that you're having towards others, remember that jealousy can be right back to you. How do you make sure that you are tough against that you are ready for those criticisms? Because some people, you may be quietly seething in, your own space. Some people are not that quiet about it. They are not. They will dig through your history. They will dig and find things out about you that you didn't even know, So it's like, that could all be subconscious behavior of why it's like, you haven't advanced just yet. Next up we have is the Six of Cups. This is in an area challenging. This is also could be very much for some of you. This isn't very career related. This is more of family related. Having just memories of the family, of like wanting good memories or wanting to like have better traditions. Like you're in a position right now where you can set traditions for the year, for what you want to expect, how you want to celebrate. Some of you may be having some bad issues with that, where you're just like, either you don't want to put enough like energy into it, or you want to put more energy into it, and this is where we're seeing like beyond, because maybe like family or your chosen family are all over the world. This is international. How do you celebrate these things with people who are international? Like how do you embrace all these different cultures? Okay, we need one more card. Thank you. And our crowning card. Okay, so this is a very intense reading. I will say that for you, pile number 2, but that is okay. It's just some things that we need to learn, okay? Some things that we need to roll with, something that we need to understand. Jealousy, in a sense of like, if you're jealous about another person, it's not to compare your journey with them. They have different resources and you have them too. And we need to put an end to that type of mindset, right? Because we can't be using others as an excuse. Every single time. We can say it once and we can say it to it, like acknowledge it and be like, yes. For some people it is definitely going to be societal things, of the way that society is built, at least here. I'll say in the United States, because that's where I am. I'm Chicago, Illinois. Things need changing. Things need revolution, okay? But we have the Tower card. We got Mars energy coming in here. It is in reverse, okay? But we'll get to that in a moment. And our crowning card, let me pick up the whole deck, actually. Our card at the bottom of the deck is the Seven of Pentacles. Definitely with these cards in here, I get the feeling people are like looking towards the path, looking towards traditions, how your family came to be, how your family, and how you want to change that and break free. Some of you are breaking generational curses, and that's a lot to take on, especially for this full moon in Leo. But this is about breaking those things, breaking curses, breaking habits, even if it's one habit at a time, something that you want to cut yourself free from. Some of you might be wanting to travel. Some of you may be wanting to experience life, even if it's like moving. Some of you may be wanting to move or move out of your home, move out of there, because you want these new traditions. You may be feeling, because where you're at right now, there's so much responsibility pushed onto you, and it's not even your responsibility. It's just like, hey, this is how things are done and you're gonna do it this way, and you're like, I'm ready, I'm gonna pack my bags and get out, okay? And then you see someone else who's like, you've been doing the same thing, and then they come around, they're like, well, I just went and did it. And it's like, what privilege did you have that was easier to do it? Or were they doing something that they weren't telling anyone else about? You don't know that. We don't know the full story of that other person. So it's like, don't be so harsh on you and your settings when you're like, if you've been doing these things. This is also a card of like making sure you don't put, like, the best way to explain it is don't put put all your eggs in one basket. This is where you gotta like be able to be very flexible, which is also with that Tower card, because some of you might be getting a message or a visit or like inspiration for something that is international from a person that is from you know, across the sea, across rivers, because we see like the ocean in there, we see a boat in there, so it's like a message from that. Okay, we're going to bring in, actually let me look at this really quick, let me see if we're missing. We have one sword, we have Libra, Mars ruling over Aries and Scorpio, Capricorn energy. Yeah, it is still very balanced. There isn't one, like, I know there's a lot of wands, there's a lot of fire in here, but there's just like 3 wands. There is 2 pentacles, but then Capricorn. Yeah, so it's a very balanced reading. There isn't something that's overwhelmingly in this, like overwhelming the reading overall. And I know people are very scared and nervous about the Tower card, but this is having that aha moment, but when it needs to happen. And this is a breakthrough. This is going to be where we're breaking things down to have a breakthrough, okay? And it can be very scary. You can have that Devil card in there trying to like bring you back to your comfort zone, but this is about what you truly desire. This is what could be illuminated to you on this night of the full moon, because Leo, dealing with the heart, dealing with that heart energy, which actually I'm going to keep on talking while I shuffle surrender cards to know what to surrender for the full moon in Leo. This is about asking yourself, what do you truly desire, and getting very clear on what it is that you desire. Because if you don't have anything to work towards, you're just going to just take on, you know, other people's goals and hopes and dreams. And, you know, you're taking that on yourself. You're not giving yourself the time and dedication. You know, it's expected to you from others. It's expected to you from your family to be this good, to do this thing, to do it this way, to have this traditional outlook. And it's you wanting to break free from that. You know, just because they used to do it that way doesn't mean you're going to do it that way any longer. And that Leo energy connected to the strength, yes, the strength card in the major arcana, that is patience, that is endurance, that is bravery, that is being bold, that is taking on your fears, these fears of change, you know. Is it slaying those demons in that way, and using your demons as strength, and realize, you know, like you might have to be more bitchy, you might have to put those boundaries up to get what it is that you want, and not be so forced into like having to do it a certain way. But definitely from beforehand, when we're talking about jealousy for others, you can't spend your time judging your journey compared to others. And I get a lot of people say that. I get a lot of, it's very common knowledge in that way. My advancement for that knowledge, besides not obsessing over how others are doing things, you can take note of how someone became successful, but remember to read between the lines there. Were they successful because someone else was paying their bills? So any money that they made went towards their venture. They didn't have to work a full-time job because someone else was working a full-time job so that they could do it, because they did it, you know, maybe when they were in school and, you know, mom and dad were paying for things. Like, you have to look at that. Don't believe them. Look at what they're not saying as well, and then think about, wrap it right back to how would you want to spend your day-to-day life. Like, if you realize you want to do this thing as a job, or you want to have this project, have this lifestyle, what is funding it? How do you make your money? What does a day in your life, what would that look like? Like, if you were going to vlog it, like, what would you vlog for that day? You know, what's your to-do list look like for that day? What I mean, you can print out for free, or like screenshot and write like on a notes app and stuff. Like a schedule, even just like it doesn't even need numbers, or you can go to Google, they have everything, you can set it up there. What would your week look like? You know, ask yourself that, and like be honest with yourself how that would look like. Okay. Okay, I think we have our 3. Do we want a 4th one? We do. Let me put you back over there. Need to make sure. So we have 4 cards for this one. I grabbed the one at the bottom of the deck too. So this first one is very cute. This one is surrender to receiving support and love. And I feel like when I see this card, especially when it's right next to here, this is like love from afar. This is like love from international love. Like this could be love of friendship. This doesn't have to be romantic love, but this can also be a sign of romantic love. As long as we let go of like the past and like learn from the past, of course, and never forget, but like don't expect people from the past to show up now. Like I'm not saying an ex is calling you, that's not what I'm saying here. But we have surrender to receiving support and love. This says allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. And so the card decided to also hit my keyboard, and if it hits one of the keys on there, it stops the recording. So I was afraid the recording just ended. That would have sucked if I didn't notice it. But yeah, so surrendering to receiving support and love. This is also definitely relating to the Ten of Pentacles, which is down here, and the 10 of Wands card here. For some of you, like I said, I feel like some of you have been looking towards like an old friend group, or like how your family should be loving, supporting, and helping you, and you're not getting that love and support. And it's like you keep expecting something that they've never provided, you know, to the extent that you want it to be. Like they can't do everything for you, and you can't do everything for them. People have to be independent of each other, okay? And then we have surrender resentments. Holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward toward positive situations in your life. Easier said than done to just forgive. It's just probably so exhausting. So exhausting. It made me think of the burn book. Just like if you have to write it down and like write down what you would want to say to them. Like I said, this could be dealing with family. This could also like be messages as well. Wanting to send a message. Maybe not actually ever sending it though, but like wanting to use your notes app just like to send these things, or just type it out to have it verbally there. And it's more of I'm on kind of the side of forgive but never forget, you know? Like you're not going to be like, it depends on your relationship to whoever hurt you, if they're worth giving another chance, and making sure you're giving them only a certain number, because that could be very personal to you, but you can't let them constantly. This is what I was talking about with the family and stuff, like needing to have that separation. Like it's good to have that support, it's good to have that support system, that love, the friendships, all that good stuff, but you can't rely on each other 110% of the time. Everyone has their own lives, their own things that they're going through and whatnot. Sometimes you have to dedicate that time to yourself, and that's where putting boundaries, and you know, that might be extra bitchiness, and if they don't understand, then they're not looking out for you as well. They might be very greedy in that sense. Okay, and then we have surrender to the magic of who you are. We all have magic in us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with the uniqueness and worth that comes from just being you. I feel like the music got loud for some reason. There we go. Okay. But yeah, so we have surrender to the magic of who you are. This is seeing the magic in everyday tasks, everyday, I was thinking like small progress, because we have the 3, and I was like, we might be seeing a lot of 3s into this. Do we even have, we've got 2 10s, so like things coming to a conclusion, like wanting to get to a conclusion, and then starting a new cycle, but believing that you have that magic within you as well, okay? And I feel like daily routines can be overlooked, but it could be something as like if you have a cup of coffee, like I like to put cinnamon in my coffee, and at first it was for magical properties, and then it just tasted really good, and now it's part of my everyday routine when I have my coffee. I really don't like coffee without cinnamon in it now. And cinnamon holds a lot of magical properties, and it's being a kitchen witch, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, that's the type of magic we're talking about there. Like, you can create that magic. It could be pulling affirmations every morning, and not feel silly about it. Be like, you know what, I have to pull affirmations every morning, and it changes you over time, you know, simple things like that. And then we have this card, surrender your desire to control people. Being over-controlled can sabotage relationships. Oh my gosh, to be over-controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. And then that also goes to, we see the snake. We know sometimes snakes are a symbolization of like a snake in the grass, you know? Like, are people on your side? Do they just want something from you? You know, are they trying to control you? Maybe for some of you, you need to do some protection spells. Recommend doing some sort of protection spell there, and, you know, clear your energy, that sort of stuff, okay? All right, surrender cards. Okay, we're gonna use the Witching Hour Oracle. I may need to use the guidebook for this one because it's still new. I haven't seen all the cards just yet, but we'll see. Okay. Okay, some of these, I think these all make sense. I might pull for those two. So the first one we have here is familiar. This one says deep bonds. This is a familiar. This is a spiritual connection. This is your connection with spirit, meaning more of like strengthening those bonds, strengthening. If you have a familiar, like if there is a, I want to say, familiar is like the great thing. We don't use terms like spirit animal. That's not what I'm talking about at all. We don't use terms like that. We want to deal with more familiars. I have a list of different names to use as well. But this is that, like, it's even just like, I was talking about feeling protected, and usually when we think of familiars, we think of protection and not necessarily like of pets who've passed on. This is a creature that is like connected to you for protection of your home, your spiritual side, and such like that. So you may be feeling like, you know, needing to reestablish those bonds. And I just got like the feeling of like a familiar that's been within your family for generations. Maybe there's some new knowledge there, you know, you want to look into. Like for me, it's the family crest has a scorpion on it, so I think that's pretty cool. So it'd be like looking into the meaning of a scorpion and whatnot. So next up is moon water. This is reset. Now, this is a full moon in Leo. You want to bottle up, put some moon water out. Now, it might freeze depending where you are in, you know, where you live. In the northern hemisphere, it's very cold. In Chicago, it is very cold. It's in the negatives right now. But we have, you know, still put moon water inside, but like through a window, through light, that stuff like that. Excuse me. But maybe wanted to create some moon water you can use for different beauty rituals. For when you feel like you need a boost of self-confidence, because that Leo is going to be like, we're going to dispel a lot of that low self-esteem, we're going to try to get rid of that fear, and you bottle that up underneath that full moon, and then when you take your next bath, you pour that water in there. So, and it just could be just like clear, just, you know, tap water or something, you know, you put it into a bottle. It doesn't have to be a fancy bottle. It could be a glass or something, you know, anything that you can, just to bottle some water, and you can use it later. Alright, next up we have Seasons of the Witch. I haven't seen this card just yet. It says honoring cycles. I have an idea of what that means, but I am going to look it up really quick, 'cause I love the descriptions in this one anyways. Oh shoot, it just opened up to the last one here too. Okay, well, hold on. Get to that one. I have this. Yeah, embracing the season you're in, repeating cycles, life is full of ups and downs. And interesting enough, so in this, with this deck in particular, if you haven't seen me use it before, it likes to have companion cards, and it relates it with actually moon water. So it says, take extra care with yourself at this time, a period of pause to refresh your spirit before a more dramatic period of action. Okay. So this is also related to the card of the wheel. Let's see. Everyone faces obstacles. Everything changes. You're here for a reason, though. Ask yourself, how can you release control of what's detrimental to your situation? What positive elements within your control can you focus on instead? If you keep finding yourself in negative situations, pulling this card is a clear sign that you're failing to learn the lessons from this phase of your life, which is why we see a lot of tens. It's kind of like a cycle we're being. I talk about ending generational cycles. So this could be relating to that as well. You will continue to stay here as long as you need it for you to understand and grow, continuing to date the same negative type, failing to speak up for yourself, and not letting others disregard your boundaries. Facing financial ruin immediately after a period of wealth, or finding your best intentions are always misunderstood, are all signs of stagnation. Similarly, if your circumstances are favorable now, reflect upon the choices that have brought you to this point. How can you strengthen in these areas to ensure more happy cycles in the future? Are there any ways you may be blocking yourself from experiencing more constant joy? Okay. And I think that just, it kind of was self-explanatory with the cycle. And this also kind of, when it sits underneath here, it's not really done on purpose, but we see it sitting underneath here, like in front of me, I should say. Surrender the magic if you are. We're talking about mundane magics. So if you've been interested in magic, that would be like work with the seasons. That might be the best way to start. Like the witches, like type of the sabbats and stuff like that might be something you're into. Just kitchen witch stuff, that could be it as well. Learning about, you know, the earth, like in terms of like what do the herbs mean, flowers mean. I just get a lot of cooking vibes from this too. We have the cauldron in there as well, so like tools could be a way to start. And the last card we have here, ooh, okay, we have Midnight Moth. Midnight Moth. It says distraction, and this is following the wrong path or needed for a change. The Midnight Moth wants you to know that it's not yet too late to turn things around, but it could be very soon. It may not seem so, but others can intuitively pick up when someone is not being authentic. You may be in danger of losing out on something remarkable because you weren't showing up as yourself. Remember, the universe brings you opportunities that are meant for who you are, not who others believe you should be. Divine timing, the justice card, and was talking about that community and family, breaking those habits. You're doing this, the universe is trying to do this for you, not for what people expect you to be. This does have it in here where if it's paired with the familiar card, it says coven or familiar, someone close to you is distracting you or influencing you negatively. This gives me the vibes, because we had that devil card there, we have that page of wands. Maybe someone is acting very immature. Remember I was talking about jealousy? I know I'm trying not to like constantly bring this back up, but now that this is becoming more and more clear, you may have been sitting there like, yeah, I wasn't really jealous of that person until you remembered someone else brought that up and started saying stuff like, someone else started like, oh, well, didn't you do that first? Well, didn't you do that? They're trying to poke at you. They're trying to initiate drama between you and that other person. And at first, maybe you're like, oh, whatever, didn't care, until they started, like, talking in your ear, and they're trying to point this out, and, like, it could work. Sometimes it depends, like, how close. Like, this is saying it's a close person, so you didn't really think that they were going to be like this. You didn't realize that they were instigating it, but perhaps they were. And, you know, maybe they do it because misery loves company. No one knows really the motivations when other people do that, besides they're unhappy and they just want to see other people unhappy. They want to see everyone else's drama. They don't want to be brought on the drama. They have no issues causing the drama, though. All right, that was very insightful. We're going to do some self-care cards. Now with the self-care, you can do some of these. You can do none of these. You can do a few of these. All of them if you wanted to. But this is just to inspire some self-care that I think is really nice to do on full moons. But of course, I think this is on a Thursday night, so you don't have to do it on the night. You can plan it for the weekend or something. Ooh. Oh my god, don't fall. Don't fall. And the card at the bottom. Alright. So we have a few things here. Oh my god. Out of my lip gloss. Don't you hate it when hair gets stuck in lip gloss? We have spend some times with friends, some close friends, something just to relax. This could definitely be the support, because remember, this is friendships. I mean, this could be your cousins. This could be, you know, close members of your family, sisters, brothers, that sort of stuff. But it could also just be, you know, hanging out with friends and just wanting to chit chat. And this is how you find some support. Maybe if you've been having a stressful time and, you know, you want to clear the air and all that sort of stuff there. Then we have connect with your womb, which initiates more of like if you don't have a womb or you don't want to connect with your womb. This is more connecting on your mother's side of things. You could think just also of Mother Nature, and just what the womb really inspires is just creativity. It's not saying like a physical, like not a baby birth, but just like the birth of something new, a new version of yourself. With like if you think about like with the womb, with labor, it's like great labor and pains birth something new and incredible with something new, and so it has so much potential. Okay, so think of it more in that sense. This could also just mean more of what people perceive to be more feminine like qualities, being more open to it, having that time. You know, it could just be more of also just absorbing information as well. Okay, remember, you don't have to do all of these. You don't have to do that one, depending on your situation or just like how you vibe with that or not. You know, no pressure. And then we have create art. Now this is just creativity. You may want to paint. You might, and this is what we're talking about, like birthing creativity. You may be thinking of something you wanted to try out, just to have fun. You can also just have, you know, friends come over, and I know they're doing cards or painting nails and all that stuff in here, but this could be more of like wine and a canvas, you know, or just like a coloring book out. You could just do some coloring. You could do stuff like that. It could just be something fun and relaxing. And then our last inspiration right here is journaling, something you want to journal. And this is what I was talking about before when it was like, maybe you need to write stuff out, like put it in a notes app or something. Journal your feelings, or journal how other people, or like, you know, how you feel about other people, and like being honest with yourself. Like if you did feel jealousy over somebody, was that initiated by somebody outside, or was that you just acting very small and it was just in the moment and you're like, I'm so sorry, like you didn't do anything, you didn't say anything to anybody else, but you do know that you felt it. And it's acknowledging that. It's acknowledging that is a part of yourself, and having to get down deep when you feel safe, when you feel like you don't force it, but when, you know, getting down deep into figuring out where that jealousy came from. That kind of also gives me a little bit of vibes of the patriarchy and like misogyny and all that sort of stuff. You know, if it's that sort of vibe of jealousy. Okay, all right, let me get our last card for your reading pile number 2. We're going to do a therapet. This could be the message. Okay, hold on. This is going to be the message that you need to hear for this full moon. In Leo, I should say. Full moon in Leo. Ooh, you want out. Okay, so you got this card right here. Hold on, I'm trying to make some space. You have this card right here. There we go. Sometimes it feels like the horrible feeling will never end. It's important to hold on and wait it out because it never lasts. Very sweet, very cute, very calming. Sometimes it feels like the horrible feeling will never end. It's important to hold on and wait it out because it never lasts. So keep that close to you. This could also be meaning feelings of jealousy and whatnot, these horrible feelings, these, you know, but they're still feelings. They're a part of you. You need to acknowledge them. These are your shadows, okay? It could be a journey for you, something that will shatter your world, but with it brings freedom. It will bring you freedom, okay? That's all I have for you today. Very intense, but very insightful for you, pile number 2. I hope that was useful for you. I hope you have an incredible full moon experience. Again, if you would like to join in for the Magic Circle, please go to my Ko-fi. Check the description box below for more details. I would love to have you. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful full moon experience, and I will see you when I see you. Bye. Hello there, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. This is obviously for those who picked 3 or picked the lion emoji, okay? I'm already gonna start shuffling here. Shuffling the deck. Oops, that card was already in reverse. Who do we have that's already in reverse, even though I just started shuffling? Or when I mean reverse, it was like flipped upside. We actually have the Knight of Wands peeking out through here, who actually is in reverse. We're gonna pull them out of the deck though. That is some Sagittarius energy, so a bit of fire, still within the realm of fire. We're gonna find out more about this. When it's like this, it's kind of like delayed message or not the greatest of news being delivered to you. I don't know if my mic just picked up my doggy sneezing, but bless Guinness. I think, I swear to God, every third pile, he's always like in there somehow. He's always, I don't know what it is about the third pile in my readings. He either barks or, in this case, sneezes, or he comes up for pets. Usually you'll see him come right over here because he can go this way under my desk into his dog bed. So yeah, so the Knight of Wands brings us, kind of, when it's in reverse like this, like stagnant energy, things are just not flowing nicely, it's not, it's a delayed message or delayed movement, that sort of stuff. But we need more details with other cards here. All right, now let's actually see what is to flip out here. Okay, so right up here we have the Seven of Cups. Delayed in making choices. Delayed. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of opportunities. And then you have the Fool card. And the Fool's like, it's okay. Whatever you feel like choosing, whatever you're drawn to is meant for you. Like, there's a lot of opportunities. Now, of course, there's a lot of places to fall. And I think for some of you out there, you're like, no, I want to be told what to choose, what to do. I don't want to make the choice. I want to be told what to do. And Spirit's just like, that may not be how it works though. That may not be how it works. Then we have the Seven of Pentacles coming into here, because there could be a lot of fear of like putting, sorry, it's the only thing I have to describe this card sometimes is like putting all your eggs in one basket. Like, have you put it all in one place and you're not sure if you want to put it all in there, and will that be successful when because I realize there's 2 sevens in this reading, you know. And then we have the Sun card. Like, it might be more foggy, it might be more shadowy, like, because the sun's in a challenging position. It's harder for you just to say yes if you don't see the full picture. But you know what? Things are mysterious, and you just have to go more with intuition than full out doing anything based of logic or reason or off the voice of others. We have the Four of Swords in here, which is very meditative. Maybe you want to lay down before you make this choice, make these decisions, choosing this path, a path of new opportunities, but a path that should be more reliant on what makes you happy, what is joyful. Okay, let's bring out our last 3 cards. You have another Knight in here. You got the Knight of Swords. This is actually Gemini energy. This is being quick with your words. It's kind of like giving me like that vibe of like the game of like, if you see this picture, what do you think of? Or not game, like when they do with psychology, I guess, because it's like always like the ink blot thing. They're like, this, what does it look like to you? Or if you do like, if I said this word, what do you initially think of? Like, what is on top of your mind? What would you take action on right now if you knew you couldn't fail? Okay, we have that. Okay. You have been hurt before. The 10 of Swords. And then we have the 3 of Pentacles. And then our crowning card right here is the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, so things may just be very boring. That's the best way to describe. When you see the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, it's just like doing the same task over and over again because you're trying to be a master of it. You're trying to have these skills into it. You're trying to make a decision based off of your skill set, or you feel like they don't match, so it's hard to make that choice because you're not very like knowledgeable about it. And the Fool card comes in, like if you have to sleep a night on it with that Four of Swords just chilling underneath there because you really want to be, you want to take each option out, lay it down before you and see it. Like you can do it, but at some point you got to take a leap of faith. At some point you got to take a leap of faith. And then we have the Three of Pentacles as your invitation, and this is like because you can build something, you can learn from others. I realize I had to move my mouse over. You can learn from others. You can find mentors on the way. You can build your team as you go. You don't need to know everything right here as you try to get started on things. Like you're going to feel foolish, you're going to make mistakes, but does it make you happy? Does it make you scream yes? Does it make you feel like, you know, this is worth it? And we have the Sun card in the center here, and the Sun rules over Leo, you know, for this full moon in Leo energy. This is about trying to illuminate these things when things feel like maybe the mental realm feels very foggy. You feel like just all these choices lead to a lot of anxiety and leads to stagnant energy. And that's why it's like stuck in this rotation. When I see that Eight of Pentacles in reverse, it is stuck in the rotation. And that's why when we see these two knights, when they're like positioned like this, you see how they're not going in the same direction. What you're saying is not what you're doing. You're saying one thing and you're doing another. Your actions don't match your words, which then causes you to be like, well, because you're looking in the past. You're constantly looking in the past. You're constantly like, you know what? I used to do it this way. Do I just keep doing it this way? I don't want more choices. You know, I don't want to make that choice. I've been hurt before. I want the world. I want the universe. I want someone else to tell me what choices to make. And it's like, you have to have like saying this, you have to make the choice to change. You got to make that choice for happiness. You got to make that choice to be happy, to allow yourself to be happy. Like you've been hurt before, but with time it comes healing, and we have to break out of that cycle, that repeating cycle. And that's why we see the Three of Pentacles. This is the beginning of foundation. When we see three, we think of the Empress, right? She is ruled or associated with Venus energy, and Venus rules over Taurus and Libra, aesthetically pleasing and beauty and substance and just like body health, aesthetic, and like your home and like your beauty rituals. Like it is sensual. It is because we're also thinking about fixed signs of that Taurus sign. It could just be like very steady and very consistent. Okay. And we see that with, we've got 3 earth cards in here. We've got 2 air. No, 3 air. So 3 and 3. It's not too bad. We don't have like someone who's overwhelming the whole deck. We only have 1 cup card, which isn't too bad. The 7 of cups are in here. It's just taking a look at all of your options into here and realizing like which one would make you like leap for joy, which one would make you go and do it. This could be what you're, you know, sleeping on that full moon. What do you dream about when you wake up from there, from that night? What would get you to go to school for this? What would get you to like wanting to learn this skill? What would get you like on this path of like, oh my gosh, I want to go and do this? And for some of you that could be spiritual. This is finding a spiritual mentor. This is about being with people who are all trying to learn the same like cycle. You're like trying to like, or not cycle, trying to like be on the same cycle of like learning. You know, you're all beginners or you're all advancing, that sort of stuff. Okay, I'm gonna bring out some oracle cards to get more insight. Right over here. So what I see for you for this full moon, this is about trying to find, out of all the paths that you've had and what you have done in your life, for you it's about what is this new path for you, this new beginning that makes you, when you go to sleep at night, you can't wait to get up the next morning. What is something that you can jump for joy for? What is something, and is it partnership? Is it love? Is it spiritual enlightenment? Is this more in the physical realm? Is this financial success? What will lead you along this path? Is it connecting with others? Is it, when we see the 10 of Swords, like in reverse, it just means like, hey, the swords are slipping out there and a new day is dawning. Like, thank God that it's over with, and it's like, just think it's over, okay? Like, we can move on, we can move forward. And this is also for some of you, when I said like the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords aren't like seen, they're not facing the same direction, they're not working together. Once you get that part of you where your actions meet your words, your mind, you will be unstoppable. You will be able to pivot into this new dawn, into this new thing. And it depends upon you making that choice, making that decision. It definitely feels like when I see that 4 of Swords, some of you are just so based in reason that you do need to think it over. You may feel like if you have education behind you, if you want to get an education in this, like you feel like you may need that as a guiding force. At the very least, it might be like a small team, like what's the word I'm looking for? Because we have the 8 of Pentacles, which is like working on skills, and then you have like, the 3 in here. This is more of like you and 2 other people to speak to each other, to talk to each other. And it is a business, like a business or a skill or like a school thing. Like, you can talk about things. It's a safe place for you to go to express yourself, express your wants and desires and your fears, and how you can better help and support each other. And that Fool card is just screaming out of like wanting change, wanting to shake things up. We want to get out of this constant cycle of you say you're going to do something and then you never do it. You find some reason why you can't, you may have been hurt before and you let that hold you back from wanting to do what it is that you're destined to now. Spirit can only do so much. It can give you the answer. But it can't force you to do it, though. Like, if it says this is what you should do, it can't force you to do that, though. You have to then follow through. Oh, we got our first one here. And we have our other, these just came flying out here. Do we have any more joining in? Nope. Okay. Hold on. These are very direct. This is very direct. Our first one here is surrender to play. Take a break from overthinking a goal. Do something fun. Play is a time of recreation and rejuvenation. That 4 of Swords here. Having fun, having joy, that Fool energy of just like, literally, this person's like jumping as well. They're skipping, they're just having fun. Definitely, like I said, you need that moment of rest before you make your next move, right? Then we have surrender to success. You are ready to experience abundance. Don't look back at previous roadblocks or difficulties. Leap, I didn't even know that was on here. Leap into an exciting new world of possibilities. That Fool card. I mean, it can't do, more than that, right? Like, that was too on point. And then we have surrender negative thinking. A lot easier said than done, but let's read it first. You have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say, thank you for sharing, and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. For some of you out there, that will be easier to do than others. For some of you, that will not be. You need more help, you need mentorship, you need to seek professional help, that sort of stuff. I think it also just brings into mind, how often do you think of negative thoughts? This could be something you're becoming more aware of. You know, these negative thoughts that when we see the Ten of Swords upright, like if each of those is a negative thought, like you're like, okay, I'm making a choice. And every time you make that choice, this comes up of like why you shouldn't do it, you know? To me, that tells me that's why we have to keep track of negative thinking, negative thoughts. Okay. Also, this could just mean like adding some more affirmations around you on like your phone as your wallpaper, wallpaper on like your computer, that sort of stuff there too. Excuse me. All right, I'm gonna bring up the witching hour. It's still kind of new, so I might need the guidebook potentially. I'm not sure yet. Ooh, I love this deck so much. Such a nice shuffle. There was a lot that came out there. Okay, it was this one, this one. Oh, there was two. Okay. I didn't know there was one hiding underneath there. Okay. One of these, I'm going to start with, no, these two. These two make more sense. I'm going to put these two to the right. When we get to them, we're probably going to need the guidebook for those. The first one here is Witch of the Woods. This is retreat. This is resting. Maybe having that good night's sleep we were talking about before you do into action, being able to retreat. For some of you, this is what it means to play, is like having some moments of solitude. Okay. And then we have salt. We've got boundaries. Pretty self-explanatory to that, as well as setting up boundaries. This could also be setting up boundaries with yourself. And this is why it's like when you don't allow negative thoughts to be in your everyday life, or when you realize like you want to do something, but you know those negative thoughts are creeping up. Like you're aware that they're about to happen. How do you prevent that? How do you put a boundary up? How do you put protection up? That sort of stuff, you know? And like how do you adjust that? You may, like I said, you might need to pick up a book and read it. That could be enough for you, or you may need to go deeper than that. That is all based off of your own personal experience, right? All right, and then we have closing the veil and mourning. I'm not exactly sure when I see this card though. This is to me that transformation. It gives me vibes of like mourning for the person that you used to be, like, you know, like thank you so much, but you're no longer needed. Like you can mourn who you were to accept who you're going to become. Okay, I am going to check though really quick just to see if there's anything else in here. It's funny because this is the companion to the Eight of Cups, and like we have the Seven of Cups here. Yeah, bittersweet endings marking a passage. This card represents the bittersweet moment when you know it's time for something good to come to an end, but you still miss what you had. I find there's a lot of pressure to move past grief rather than through it. Often a failure to acknowledge grief may lead to doubt about the beautiful new path that is ahead of you. Says that 10 of Swords, the Sun card, and the Fool card. You may have been questioning a decision out of fear that what you're getting may not be worth what you're giving up. This card is confirmation to let go, but also to make space to process your grief. Where you are now has served its purpose, and you are destined for more. You may consider performing a ceremony similar to a graduation to mark the transition from one way of being to the next, or create an altar space for a time to show your gratitude and appreciation for what was. Above all, trust where you're headed is right and will lead you to many more happy memories. You are safe and will be supported. Even if you don't know what comes next, know that you are held in security of spirit, and when you let go, something else will take its place. Beautiful. Okay. Kind of like similar to what I thought it was going to be. Though this one, I don't, besides what it says in here, it says the hanging bones, seeing the signs. I mean, it sounds very similar of like if you're asking for a sign, like when you're asking to be told the way and spirit tells you the way, are you going to be open to it? But let's see what it says here first. Ooh, this is related to the pages, and they say typically when you see pages, they're all very similar to the Fool card right there, but specifically is related to the Page of Cups. Paying attention, following accordingly. Companion cards, the hanging bones to the hanging bones. I don't know why it's there again, but goes representing seeing signs no matter where they're placed in your reading. Look to other cards for more clarity about which area of your life these are offering. Okay, so that's what it means. Offering guidance for. Looking for the signs of the past of you. Looking for signs for where you need to put boundaries up. Got it. Okay. Let's see. The signs are not mistakes, and once you begin to honor them, you will come to realize Spirit has been directing you through these little whispers your entire life. Do not question a sign when one is presented to you. Rejoice in the wink from the universe and act accordingly. If a sign feels like a positive validation, then honor it. If a sign feels like a warning, take heed. And be sure to say a small prayer of gratitude for each sign received. With time and your willingness to pay attention, signs will become clearer and more frequent. For some of you, like I said, this could be like a spiritual path, and so like this is you trying to amp up the next level of your spirituality, which is asking for signs and being aware of when they're presented to you. Okay, love that deck. I think that was very insightful. Look out, at some point I'm going to be doing a review about that deck, not sure when, but it will be coming. Alright, I haven't done this in a hot minute, especially for full moons. We're going to do some self-care cards. When it comes to these self-care cards, you can use them as inspiration. You can use all of them. You can use none of them, you know, few of them. And if don't feel pressure. Don't feel pressure to, like get them done all in one night. You might have to spread it out, and just make sure to just take time for yourself. Just take time. Sometimes when full and new moons happen overall, people can just experience extra exhaustion. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna get one more. Oh, here, one. Perfect, 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 perfect. Let me get this over here. So first up is meditate, which we kind of talked about earlier when we saw the Four of Swords coming into here. It's having that moment of meditation, moments of like, maybe some of you want to take a meditative or like a retreat like that, a retreat into the woods, whether it's just personal or with a group, which is funny only because you plan a vacation, and for some of us that's easier said than done than others depending on your financial situation. But this could also be more of like if you could plan like a vacation that maybe is small or just like a weekend stay or an at-home vacation. What would that look like to you? And that then ties into this other form of self-care, which is abundance planning where your money goes, where you're setting boundaries with yourself when you realize where you overspend, when you overconsume, or you're not spending enough investing in the right things. You know what, doing yourself takes up so much time. You should be spending money to get it done by a professional, you know, stuff like that, versus stuff that you can do yourself and that it's worthwhile. And then we have aromatherapy. So this could be a nice activity to do if you do like different scents. This could also just be, you know, freshening up and lightening the scents in your home. This could be assigned to do a simmer pot, you know, all this stuff here. Otherwise, maybe just get a bouquet of flowers, something like that. Okay. Also with abundance planning, this could also relate to planning a vacation of like if you've been wanting to take a vacation, it could be a sign for you to take a vacation, or like for you to start saving money, you need to have a vacation plan because you may be like, I need to save money. Well, how much money would you need to save? You may think of one number. In reality, it could be more or less than what you're thinking of. Probably more, probably less, you know, who knows, depending where you want to go, depending if it is just like as simple as like, oh, you feel like this is unattainable. You feel like, you know, going just to a cabin in the woods may be unattainable, but have you looked at different seasons? Have you looked at, you know, considering like their off season, they could be cheaper. You know, it might not be a winter cabin, but it could be a summer cabin or something, you know. I think both of those could be, depending, could be very very expensive, but maybe you haven't looked at all your options there. Okay. yeah, I think that's it for this part. This also is making me think of like, oh, I think I said that already. Like some people like have retreats like this that you can just join in, so it's kind of like a group thing, so you're not by yourself. All right. I'm going to start shuffling this. As a therapist, we're going to end your reading with one of these cards so you can get your message for this full moon in Leo. We're going to split the deck because this is too large. I cannot flip anything out of here ever. This is too large to do that. This is such a cutie. Just do your best. It will be enough. I love that. I also love the colors on this. This is so cute. Okay, just do your best. It will be enough. All right. That is your message for this full moon in Leo. I hope you have a wonderful full moon experience. Again, if you would like to join in for the Magic Circle, please go to my Ko-fi right here. Go to the description down below if you would like to read more information on it. I would love to have you with me. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful full moon experience. Get some rest. Get some insight. Take note of your dreams, that sort of stuff. And I will see you when I see you. Bye.